Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And again, I want to thank Mr. Boardman for coming. You can't imagine how hard it is to get here from Frannie, Wyoming. In December of 2012, an Interior advisor, Rebecca Water, presented to the Montana Conservation Districts the benefits of this new federal Blueways designation and asked them to consider nominating the Yellowstone River Watershed for the designation. Now, this Blueways designation was created by Secretarial order. Would you put up a slide that shows the Yellowstone River Watershed? I want to point out that this watershed is half in Wyoming and half in Montana. Now, with that introduction, Mr. Boardman, when did the Wyoming Association of Conservation Districts become aware that the Yellowstone River Watershed might be designated as a national blueway?
We just found out in February of this year.
Even though Montana was approached last year?
Yes, they actually called and said, what do we think about the proposal? And we said, what are you talking about? We didn't even know the National Blueways existed, and thanks to your staff and our national staff, we're able to investigate that and then bring that forth.
So you found out from the Montana people?
Yes, ma'am.
You didn't find out from the Secretary of the Interior's Department?
Absolutely not.
Not from Rebecca Water, who was the senior Interior advisor who presented to the Montana Conservation Districts?
No.
Even though you're the headwaters?
Yes, ma'am. In fact, 49%, almost 21 million acres lay in Wyoming.
And that is about what percentage of the watershed?
49%.
So 49% of this watershed is in Wyoming. The rest is downstream.
Yes, ma'am.
But Interior Department didn't come and talk to you about it?
No, ma'am.
Now, does this cover your conservation district?
Yes, ma'am. In fact, 16 of our conservation districts lay on the northern border.
At any point in time, has the Department of the Interior notified you that they're considering the designation of the Yellowstone River as a national blueway?
No.
Have you read the Blueway Secretarial order?
Absolutely. Now.
Does it require any formal notice or public comment prior to a Blueways designation?
It asks for stakeholder input, but never notification.
Input, but not, as other federal laws say, cooperating agency status.
No.
Did you consider land acquisition now going to the way it's being implemented elsewhere? There's a couple other places in the country where these Blueways designations have been used. And even though we were all told when we found out about this Blueways designation that was an invention of the Department of the Interior, that the order says it's not intended to be the basis for any new regulatory authority, are you aware that the President's budget requests almost $10 million to acquire over 5,000 acres around the two existing Blueways?
I just found out as we were back here in D.C. the last 2 days.
Do you consider land acquisition to be a regulatory action, particularly if it's designated to capture water flows to restore or protect natural, cultural, or recreational resources?
Absolutely.
You develop and implement watershed management plans in Wyoming. Is watershed management in the arid West as simple as managing solely for natural, cultural, or recreational resources?
We might at this time draw your attention to, and I think we were added this to our testimony, it's our local watershed management plan, and it's managed and developed for multiple use, hydro, agriculture, recreation, agriculture, and so municipal use in terms of domestic water. So we already on the ground have already a watershed management plan that exists. It's quite extensive. We address all of those issues and not just a single entity.
And is part of the reason that you look at multiple use the fact that FLPMA, the Federal Land Policy and Management Act, requires a multiple use approach?
Absolutely. And it's very important. Without water, we cease to exist. We even have pipelines that carry water to our houses in the rural areas because we don't have water there, and we have bad water in the wells. And so every bit of our water is a precious commodity. We account for every drop. If it isn't grown and irrigated in the west, it's just like this floor. Nothing is grown and nothing happens. We might as well shut our doors, close our communities.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.